Nickelodeon Slime Streak is a scenic steel roller coaster at New Jersey's Nickelodeon Universe. This family coaster travels through a majority of the park, passing over pathways and narrowly avoiding rides. This ride is the spiritual successor of Pepsi Orange Streak at Minnesota's Nickelodeon Universe, but this ride has several key differences. One of which is that it may be too fast. I know that's a weird thing to hear from a coaster enthusiast, but I will explain what I mean in this review. Mall of America opened its indoor theme park back in 1992. Originally known as Camp Snoopy, this park features a Zero Tivoli coaster that traveled through a majority of the park. This ride has been extremely popular with guests. It was a mild experience to appeal to those with tamer tastes, but the visuals made it enjoyable for anyone. This is why the ride remained after the park's conversion to Nickelodeon Universe. The ride just has name change from Pepsi Ripsaw to Pepsi Orange Streak. When 555 took over the long-troubled American Dream Mall project in New Jersey, they announced the mall would also include an indoor theme park called Nickelodeon Universe. And unsurprisingly, there would be a coaster similar to Pepsi Orange Streak. The ride would also be named after the company's iconic green goo. It would be called Nickelodeon Slime Streak. The coaster would also traverse a majority of the park. But this would not be a Zier creation. This was a surprising move given Zier's experience building coasters in malls across the globe. Instead, it would be a Chance Rides family coaster. The layout would be more dynamic. Whereas Orange Streak's layout is mostly comprised of gradual twists and turns, Slime Streak would have a feistier layout with more dips. This is not too surprising given it was designed by Joe Draves, who has designed the latest coasters for Rocky Mountain Construction. The ride is definitely exciting to watch off-ride. This coaster adds so much kinetic energy to the park as it cycles around the midway. Then the color palette is perfect for the park, as the orange track and green trains really pop with each other. The ride's entrance sign is cool as well, as it's a large splash of green slime. I wish they put some effort into the queue line and station. These are laughably bare and naked with nothing to see. The American Dream Mall suffered many delays, but Nickelodeon Universe was the first attraction to open. However, many rides at the park were not available on day one. Slime Streak was just one of 2 coasters operational on opening day. The park has continued to suffer from frequent ride closures, particularly for Sandy's Blasting Bronco and TMT Shellraiser. But Slime Streak seems to be fairly reliable. I have yet to notice it down outside of planned annual maintenance. I have seen the coaster with multiple seats unavailable though. In my last visit, nearly half the seats were broken. This becomes problematic if the park has any type of crowds. Slime Streak does not have good capacity to begin with. The coaster has just one train. It seats 20 riders. There are 5 cars with 2 rows of 2. So if multiple seats are broken, this line absolutely crawls. I have deliberately visited this park on off-peak days, but I have heard Slime Streak often has the longest queue in the park. I have heard it can easily exceed a half hour on weekends. This queue is not fun to wait in either. It is a long series of plane switchbacks. If you are visiting on a busier day and arrive at opening, this is a wise one to prioritize early in the day before the queue backs up. This ride is included in the park's paid Quick Pass Skip the Line pass if needed, but I have never found it necessary if you visit on off-peak days. There are 2 reasons this queue moves slowly beyond the lack of seats. First, this ride often has a strict loose article policy. Guests are often told to remove everything from their pockets and place them off to the side prior to boarding. There are lockers before you enter the queue. At one point these were free, but now they're paid, so most guests choose not to use them. Second, this is an extremely unaccommodating attraction. This ride is the same train design as Chance's Big Dipper kiddie coasters. You have cramped cars with little legroom and a T-bar restraint that needs to be very low. This is fine for kids, but it's a major problem for any adult. So any adult will find it a tight squeeze. For reference, I am 5'9", 160 pounds, and I only had 2 clicks of room. This ride can be uncomfortable or impossible for those with thick thighs or long legs. It is not uncommon to see 1 or 2 adults each cycle denied or leaving due to discomfort. Definitely check the test seat before entering the queue line for this one. It really is unfortunate the vehicles for this ride are so tiny. I hope this is something Chance can fix in their future family coasters. Not only does this make it tricky for parents to ride with their kids, but there are a lot of adults who genuinely find this ride fun, but struggle to fit on it. When you reach the end of the queue, seating is on a first-come basis. If the seat you want is already taken, most operators are happy to let you wait an extra cycle. The front has the benefit of the unobstructed view, but the back has some extra whip on the ride's larger drops. Try both if you have the opportunity. Once checked, you turn left, passing over an ugly backstage area. Then you ascend the 70-foot or 21-meter tall lift hill. The train is slowly pushed to the top by drive tires. At the top, you get a great view overlooking the kids area, and the views of different attractions will continue for the rest of the ride. The first drop twists left. It is probably 4 to 5 stories in size. In the back car, you get some genuinely good laterals as you're whipped downwards. You come close to getting airtime, but you don't quite lift out of your seat. A few hills on this ride offer the sensation, but none actually offer airtime in any row. You then rise upwards and have a small dip, narrowly avoiding the ceiling's HVAC equipment. This leads into the third drop, which is noticeably taller than the second. It curves right and has minimal banking, so it offers very good laterals, particularly in the back row. The whip is fantastic for a ride of this scale. This is followed by a speed hill. It looks like it should offer negative Gs, but it doesn't quite. It is an exciting moment nonetheless because it squeezes between 2 pendulum rides. Afterwards, the track slightly turns left, inducing some weak laterals. Then there's a bunny hill passing over the ride's track. At this point, you're at the far end of the park, getting a nice view of Sandy's blasting Bronco. Then you have an undulating helix around Jimmy Neutron's Atom Smasher. No positives nor laterals, but it is a fun visual if the other ride is cycling beneath you. Then you have an elongated bunny hill over Timmy's Half-Pipe Havoc. It's another nice view if that ride is cycling, but even if it's not, you pass between poof billboards on both sides. The finale then twists left. Then there's a small double-up S-bend. The directional changes are again underbanked, so they offer some light laterals. You then hit the brakes and return to the station, ending the 1,263-foot or 385-meter-long coaster. That's not a lot of track length, and this ride does feel a tad short since it briskly moves from one element to the next. I find this ride's speed a tad awkward. It's in this middle ground that doesn't offer any airtime nor positive Gs, but you're going a tad too fast to fully admire the views. I wish the ride skewed either towards more thrills or more visuals. For example, I prefer Mall of America's Orange Streak because that ride is a bit slower paced, so it's easier to take everything in. I know that's a personal preference thing, and not everyone will feel the same. Several coasters at Nickelodeon Universe have been plagued by roughness and rattles, but Slime Streak is a fairly smooth experience. There's a slight shake, but it's fairly benign. So, what would I rate Nickelodeon Slime Streak? I would give this coaster a 6 out of 10. I love this coaster's location. It is neat getting a swift tour of the park. The ride is dynamic, and there are good laterals towards the start. But the ride's pacing is a bit frustrating for me. You move a bit faster than other observation-based coasters, and I'd forgive that if the coaster offered better forces, but most hills don't quite deliver negative or positive Gs. Still, this is a fun coaster, especially for families. I just don't think it quite reaches its full potential based on my tastes. So those are my thoughts on Nickelodeon Slime Streak at Nickelodeon Universe. What are your thoughts about this coaster? Do you have an issue with the pacing like me? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.